What's going on, my legendary folks, and how we doing? My name is David, and I'm your host of this legendary podcast. Hope you are doing well, and yes, I did say how we doing, my legendary folks, because yes, you guys are listening to out there, my folks out there, my peoples, listening to this legendary podcast. I appreciate the love and the support. So that makes me that if I am that legendary host and this is the legendary podcast, then you're the legendary audience. We make it happen. We got a good episode. Something I've been wanting to talk to for a while. And once again, because we got, this episode right there, and I'm going to throw this. It's an episode. It's an educational, informative episode. Something that I want people to just grab this episode. Feel free to share. Hit the like. I told people, hit the like. When you watching this on YouTube or whatever platform, hit that like button. Little comment here and there. Let's make it happen. And I just want to give you a context of how can I say it to you? What make this beautiful episode, this little thing going on that we talking about today, which is Operation Paperclip. I'm just going to throw it out there. What I'll be talking about, Operation Paperclip. And the genesis of this conversation came about. If you people out there have seen, the recent news, what's going on, it seems that Elon Musk, the CEO of X and the CEO of Tesla, might have made some gesture here. Hey, listen, I'm not here what I think about what he did in terms of my opinion, but a lot of people have made comments that, hey, it looked like he did a, little Nazi salute or whatever the case might be. And to give you a little bit context of where we at there and what that has to do with Operation Paperclip, just to give you an idea, a little context for those people that need to brush up a little bit in history. World War II, from the 1930s all the way to 1945, Nazi Germany back then, Hitler and all those people, they decided, let me spread my ideology, whatever, across Europe, Poland, Italy, whatever, France. And it was a wild time back then. It was wow. Oof. I mean, we could do episode. I mean, I think that is the one war where historians are still talking about it because there's so much to pick. And that's why I created this podcast. I'm sorry. That's why I made this podcast, but to talk about this episode. Woo, let's get it. But just to give you that context of World War II and what is World War II. And what came out of World War II is something very sinister and dark, crazy, which a lot of people, and that's why I said, I got to talk about it because it's hot. It's hot from the oven, fresh from the oven. Operation Paperclip. And that was something so very interesting that Operation Paperclip was basically United States of America, little group going on there. I think this was like before the CIA. They gather a little group and decide, what? There's Nazis, right? Nazi Germany, to be more specific. Let's kind of like separate the Nazi Germany with the Nazi Germany, because there was an ideology. My understanding is that when they were invading these countries, they were making these weapons, tanks, that even United States, Russia, they never seen. Like these, we talking about rockets that could just fly across the world, across the universe, come back with still some gas. I mean, it was just crazy what they were building. Planes. It was just building crazy. And United States was like, you know what? We need to get our hands off this before Russia. Russia was on the other side of also fighting and defending his country from the invasion. So just to give you an idea, so United States, with some of these folks out there just kind of salivating once World War II was over. It was declared over in, September 2nd, 1945. And they said, yo, we need to get some of these people that were creating these rockets. Where are these smart people? So that's where Operation Paperclip. Operation Paperclip came in 1945 under the President Harry Truman, who's a Democrat, right? Now, I like to sometimes throw the name of the party because I'm one to say the situation that happened with Elon. It happened on the day that Donald Trump got inaugurated, whatever was going on there. And, people say, oh, look, that's the Republican Party. Look, they party of races. And I like to remind people that in this country, which is mostly run by these two parties, Democrats and Republican, that they have had a history. And this is where this operation come in. They have had a history of having this love and hate relationship with the Nazis. And in this case, with Operation Paperclip, is basically say, we want the smartest mathematicians, the smartest people that makes the rockets, the smartest people that that do this. We want those people. Are they still alive? Let's get them. Let's get them to this country. We're going to build this because during the Cold War, which Cold War is it's that thing with Russia and United States, these two mega houses, mega country. We're talking about two forces who were like, one has the eye looking at you like who's going to do what now that we are the superpowers of this world. And United States basically had the head start by just saying, whoop, okay, my man, whoop. And one of the interesting people that they have picked up and kind of purged, because keep in mind, this happened from the 45 to the 60s. And doing my little research, I couldn't find if there's, because this was a secret program, right? It's like, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Well, we're going to make it obvious that we're going to have these people with German names, the Kraus, the Tom, the Van Brauns and all that. And they brought a gentleman in by the name of Wernher von Braun. For those people that like to shave, right? Men, women, all that is in between, BRAUN, right? Yeah. If we start to kind of like do a deep search on how much companies out there that had Nazi ties, what's the name of that clothing store, that clothing thing? Oh, Hugo Boss, right? I'm just saying, So Thomas Wernher von Braun is basically the reason, or one of the main reason, he was the designer of the V2 rocket. And I'm going to try to get some links going on out there. The V2 rocket is a rocket, again. Me joking around, I said that rocket could just travel around the world and come back and they still got gas and then go out there and drop somewhere where people sadly will die if there's people in the vicinity. So you got the V2 rocket. So this Wernher von Braun, basically NASA. You already know what NASA is. NASA. The Neurotics and Space of United States Transportation, whatever it is. You already know NASA. It's that American thing where we got rockets, go into space or whatever the case might be. But, some people argue, hey, listen, the word NASA now sounds like Nazi, right? Hey, I'm just saying. It ain't my conspiracy here or it ain't my theory here. I'm just saying. So Wernher von Braun was one of those individuals that was purged when the Operation Paperclip, like, hey, Mercedes-Benz, the company Benz, making those cars out there for the Nazi tanks. Hello, getting purged, right? I could go so on. Hugo Boss, right? I think if you look at some of these clothes, and now I'm gonna say in fairness. And I think Volkswagen is another one. Volkswagen, it's another one. In fairness, a lot of these groups and people basically just went along with it and tried to survive. No, there's some argument that some, even Wernher von Braun, basically kind of like say, hey, I apologize for taking part of it. But, Wernher von Braun, he was part of the Allgemeine SS, which is one of the top military, the Schutzstaffer military, the SS. For those people not familiar, the SS is like the elite of the elite, where they made some decisions, right? They like the best way to kind of explain that, a lot of these SS, and they were part of that SS soldier. It's like kind of having like a Congress Senate where they make these decisions while the president, the face of the United States, makes other. So I'm just giving an example, what the SS is. For those listening, if you want to chime in, let me know. But just the fact that Van Braun and some of these other folks that might have kind of felt like an ill will, like I apologize. But the fact is that they're history of being Nazis or whatever it is just permeated in this country. And that's where the love relationship comes in. And again, both political parties, Democrats and the Republican, they welcomed them with open arms because it's going to help them fight the big bad Russia. You know what I mean? The big bear, oh, the Russians. And that's one of the things that I remind people and why I'm so cautious of these political parties, because we're in United States, when it comes to elections, they pointing at the finger at one each other. You know, if you vote for this one, they're going to take away your democracy. You vote, yeah, the whole nonsense. But then we forget that there's other people out there in other countries going to pay the price. And just when you think we're talking about racism and Nazis and all that, we forget the history that this country has had, and especially with Operation Paperclip. Now, again, Operation, just to give you an idea, Operation Paperclip. So it lasted from 1945 all the way to the 60s. Because if you look at the way to explain is that many of these Nazi scientists, engineers, whatever the case might be, if you look at 1945, a lot of them were probably up there in age, you know, in their 50s, 60s. Another nice little information here. There's those people that believe that, let's say, Hitler, who got kicked, self-deleted, committed suicide, whatever happened there, that he lived, he was able to escape Germany and went somewhere in South America, I think Chile and Argentina. But the reality is, and the truthful is, that many Nazi people left to those countries across the world, mainly, again, South America, Argentina, Chile. Hey, not to put those people in the map, it's just that the truth is that because there were a lot of Nazi kind of sympathizers across the world, whether it's Australia, but mostly for some reason it was in this region in the South. Some might have, came in, but, these, because Operation Paperclip, you have the legit ones, you know what I mean? That, hey, because United States is funny when it comes to the immigration thing going on. That's another different topic. That, United States have a way to welcome certain people from other countries that could bring something to this country, right? And I'm not saying that the others can't. I'm just saying, the way they selected who comes in, who's not, right? Having myself a little bit of tea, Irish tea. Woo. So they selected who's here. Hey, you over there in that country. Hey, you want to come here? What you know? Oh, you're an expert in rockets. All right, come over here. You know what I mean? History tends to repeat itself. So sadly, it like again, it lasted in the 60s. So I just want to say that that's the official, because it was a secret program. People were not able to find where to kind of say, okay, this ended. There's a book out there in regards to the situation. I'm trying to look for it. What's the name of the book? Man, I mean, and I apologize if I'm over here. I'm doing because I put some research right in front of me. Because there's a lot of things. I mean, you could even go on the YouTube and I'll do a one where you could put Operation Paperclip and learn more of it, because the story goes a little bit deeper. It's a little bit darker because there's a lot of people in that list of these German Nazis, right? Or, I'm also going to say that there were people, and I'm not going to say that everybody, my understanding, not everybody, right, were, how can I say, Nazis? Because, I always want to remind people that, remember, you don't necessarily attach German to Nazis, right? Remember, Nazis and ideologies that just became a thing once they became powerful and became too powerful. And in order to survive, there's people that kind of said, okay, whatever you want me to do. So you had this Von Braun group, or whatever the case might be. Some people, Hans Antmann, Heinz, Korlig, Robert Lucelle, Adolf Busserman. I mean, I could go on and on. There's individuals that actually just were Germans and still were pro-Germans and were against the Nazis. Another thing, too, is Operation Valkyrie. And I'm touching on Operation Valkyrie because there were people or those individuals who were in the Nazi part, either the Nazi party, soldiers, whatever, who, let's say, were just infiltrating the party to assassinate Adolf Hitler. And it was probably, I believe it was the last attempt of his assassination by a soldier, an elite soldier, my understanding. So just to give you an idea, once again, not a lot of times the Nazi German, you can't always put them together. You know what I mean? So if a lot of these individuals, they don't like to kind of, they probably, maybe United States, because United States they tend to do this. They tend to kind of what we call whitewash something. Well, it's dirty, but throughout the years, you just tend to kind of either because you get more information or because you don't want people to attach something sinister. So basically it's saying, well, maybe they were Nazis, maybe they were just German, and some of them were Nazis. You know what I mean? So just to give an idea on that situation. But it's very interesting because, again, we could go on to these dark places. I'm one that I've learned every year. I learn something new in regards to what happened in World War II. World War II has still have a large impact, and World War II, it's what propelled United States to be the superpower that is at this moment. There's I think somebody told me or somebody showed me where when World War II started, in the late 30s or whatever the case might be, when it comes to military power, United States was not even in the top 20. In term and how do one determine that? It's basically military personnel. You basically your arms and all that, because even at that time before World War II, United States have come out of these conflicts in the Philippines, part of the Spanish Treaty War. So war was not a really popular thing with Americans until somewhere down the line, Pearl Harbor happened. And what happened in Pearl Harbor, basically, United States was like, you know what? Let those Europeans fight. If we feel we need to enter, we enter. Then Pearl Harbor came in because World War II, people forget, or people don't mention, or they tend to not mention that, hey, listen, it happened in the Pacific with Japan, China, invading China. So Pearl Harbor was that thing in December 1941, where Pearl Harbor, Hawaii was attacked by Japan, and it gave United States that, kind of reason to kind of join World War II, and the rest is history. And what came out of that, there's so much that could take. Again, there's so much, because not only are you purging, because Russia did the same thing, so, but more of the American side, because, sadly, and that's why in this country, if you look, even before that, you might have little bastions of Germans, family that came from that side of thing. There was this show called Chasing Hitler, for those who like to be entertained by conspiracies or theories. Let's just put it, conspiracy theories, but theories. Where Hitler did not die and he lived a long life. There's a thing going on. Argentina and Chile, they had a camp there where they had these Nazi Germany people that live. And my understanding, there was people even as of 20, 25 years ago. Because remember, World War II ended in 1945. Then you had the Nuremberg trial where you caught these top German people, the Goebbels or whatever it is, and basically you put them on trial, and they got executed. But there were a lot of Germany top Nazis, I should be specific, that escaped the country and managed to escape and live a long life in Argentina. There were those, because the story behind what happened or the main story that happened that came out of the World War II was the Holocaust. Basically, there was those in the Jewish state that went on a years to decades of a manhunt to look for the people that were part of this Holocaust. So, interesting thing, Operation Paperclip. I could go on, so on and so forth, but just once again to give you an idea what Operation Paperclip is, you can feel free to share. For those people out there that are sitting down and saying that went on the socials and say, look, look at Elon, look what he's doing, whatever it is that he's doing. Remind people that in this country, both the Democrat and the Republican parties have had a strong relationship with German Nazis. And Wernher von Braun is just an example, and what came out of that was NASA. NASA, I'm saying it right. I'm not trying to say some no funny NASA or something. NASA. Well, hope you enjoyed this episode. We making it happen. Feel free to share, like, all that good stuff. Woo! And I appreciate my legendary audience. We making it happen. I'm out of here. Peace.